The mummified giant finger of Egypt. Did giants once really roam the earth? This is a footprint of a giant humanoid found in China. Look at the size of that. That's almost over twice the size of a human footprint. Now, in March 2012, a piece of sensational news was published by the German edition of Bild newspaper, which stated that the remains of a giant were found on the territory of Egypt. It was a mummified finger of a creature that resembles a human, but far exceeds a human size. The Egyptian giant finger reached 38 centimeters in length. Did giants really exist in ancient Egypt? The Egyptian finger of this giant reaches 38 centimeters. To compare the size, there was a banknote to it. According to the publication, the photos were dated 1988, but they were provided for the first time, moreover exclusively, for the German newspaper. The photographs were taken by a Swiss entrepreneur and a passionate admirer of the history of ancient Egypt, Gregor Sperry. And according to him, in 1988, one of the private suppliers in Egypt promised to organize a meeting with the robber of these ancient burials. The meeting took place in a small house in Bir Hooker, 100 kilometers northeast of Cairo, Egypt. He showed the finger wrapped in rags to Sperry, and according to Sperry, it was a strong-smelling, oblong-shaped bag, and its contents were amazing. Sperry was allowed to hold the relic as well as take a few pictures because he paid these people $300 for this. For comparison, he put next to a banknote of 20 Egyptian pounds, and the finger was very dry and light. Sperry noted that it was unbelievable. The creature to which it belonged should have been at least 16.5 feet in height. To prove the authenticity, one tomb raider showed a photo of an X-ray of the mummified finger in the 1960s. The certificate of authenticity of the finger of this find was one of that same age. Sperry asked him to sell the relic, but the burglar refused, saying that its value was very important to his family. To say it was his family treasure, therefore, Sperry had to fly out of Egypt with nothing. And later, Sperry showed these pictures to representatives of various museums, but they only waved him off. According to him, they all said that the finger does not fit into modern theories. In 2009, Sperry visited Bir Hooker again to find that the giant mummy finger again, but he was unable to find that tomb raider, and all this time, Sperry enthusiastically studied information about the ancient giants. Did the giants really live in Egypt? In 79 AD, the Roman historian Josephus Flavius wrote that the last of the race of giants did live in the 13th century BC, during the reign of King Josiah. He further wrote that they had huge bodies, and their faces were so unlike ordinary humans that it was amazing to look at them, and it was scary to listen to their loud voice, which was like a lion's roar. The Egyptian giant finger inspired Sperry to write a book. The find had a great impact on Sperry. In 2008, he quit his job and began writing a book about giants, and soon he published the book titled Lost God, Day of Judgment. It's a mystical, historical thriller based on Sperry's fantasies. He wrote that he did not specifically write about the find in a scientific style, giving readers the opportunity to decide for themselves what to think about this. Is it true that in the distant past, giants once lived on Earth? Well, obviously, it's even quoted in the Bible. Remember that the 12 spies, one representative from each of the tribes of Israel, after the exodus from Egypt, were to go to the promised land, and they saw that they were like insects compared to the giants that were there. Now, though scientists have always pioneered that human-like beings who grow to 20 feet or more are the stuff of fiction, and even far in the past there is no evidence hominins ever got much taller than we are today, some enigmatic discoveries raise big questions against it. Some of these strange findings prevail over our conversation understandings. the giants of New York. In 1871, an archaeological dig at the Native American burial ground unearthed 200 giant skeletons, some measuring up to 9 feet tall. It was also estimated that the remains could have been up to 9,000 years old. At the time, the discovery of these remains was widely reported in the media, but today the remains have disappeared. Giant footprints. One of the most famous giant footprints was found outside of Puluzi, South Africa. It was found 100 years ago by a hunter, and locals named it the footprint of God. The print is 1.5 meters long. It's about over 3.5 feet long. And if the rest of the body was sized in proportion to the foot, the giant that made it would stand between 24 and 27 feet tall. It's estimated that the print could be anywhere from 200 million years to 3 billion years old. Around the world, there have been similar footprints found embedded in age-old rock. In San Jose, a 2.5 meter footprint was found near a local ranch. Whatever made it would have towered over the giant from Puluzi, that was 27 feet tall. In the same city, another 1.5 meter footprint was found on a cliff. In August 2016, in Guizhou, China, a series of footprints were discovered, with each print nearly 2 feet long and indented nearly 3 centimeters into solid rock. Scientists have calculated that whatever made the prints would have to be over 13 feet tall. In 1912, a 4-foot-long print was unearthed in South Africa, which was dated to over 200 million years old. Whatever humanoid made the print would have to have been over 27 feet tall. Similar footprint was found in the jungle of Lazovsky in Russia. And the giants of Death Valley in Nevada. In 1931, a physician by the name of F. Bruce Russell discovered some caves and tunnels in Death Valley and decided to explore them with Daniel S. Bovey. What they at first assumed was a small cave system turned out to go on for 120 square miles. One of these first things they discovered was some kind of ritual or religious hall covered in strange hieroglyphs. The stranger still was the discovery of 9-foot-tall humanoid skeletons. The story was first officially reported in the San Diego newspaper in 1947. The remains were mummified and were estimated to be around 80,000 years old. However, the story quickly faded away again, along with the giant's remains yet again. The Wisconsin giants. Scientists are remaining stubbornly silent about a lost race of giants found in some burial mounds near Lake Delavan in Wisconsin Bay, in Wisconsin in May 1912. As reported in the New York Times 4th of May 1912 issue, the 18 skeletons found by the Pearson brothers exhibited several strange and freakish features. Their heights range from 7.6 feet to 10 feet, and their skulls are much larger than those of any human that habitat America today. They tended to have a double row of teeth, elongated heads, 6 fingers and 6 toes, and like humans came in different races. This is only one of many accounts of giant skeletons found in Wisconsin. From 2600 BC to the mid-1800s, Lovelock Cave in Nevada was supposedly in use by a race of red-haired cannibal giants. In 1911, James Hart and David Pugh got the rights to dig and sell the guano, the bat guano that was found there for fertilizer, which was used to make gunpowder in those days, from Lovelock Cave. They had gone only a few feet into the cave when they found the body of a man 6 foot 6 inches tall. His body was mummified and his hair distinctly red. They discovered many other normal-sized mummies, but a few were 8 to 10 feet tall. There were also many giant-sized handprints embedded in the cave walls. What's our conclusion here? In the end, it's clear that the Egyptian giant finger has no ground except for the photos and claims put forth by George Sperry. However, there are so many other accounts conveying the discovery of remains of ancient giants. With all of these stories, the questions that remain are, where are they now? Where is their factual historical base? Why the historians who try to dig up these forbidden archaeology are called pseudo-historians? And we have to bear in mind why society once put Galileo into such group of pseudo-wise people. Are we completely right about the knowledge of ancient history? It seems that we still have a lot to learn. This is by N. Hale from Ancient Mysteries, and it's on Collector's Park. Please leave your comments, and thank you for your support. Kindly support my Patreon account. The daily posts are 5 videos daily, and they are totally different from what I have on my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for your support and that you find all my content so interesting. You'll find the Patreon account details in the description box below.